All right, guys, here in the garage, we're doing a full suspension replacement on the front of this 2013 Tesla Model S. Here's all the parts that we're doing. So upper control arm, sway bar end links, tie rod ends, and then these two lower, these are like the lower control arms. We're doing those. I just did the other side, so this side should go a little quicker, and maybe I'll give you a few tips along the way, but you have to take this panel off here, unscrew this little rubber piece, and this side pops out, and you've got to take off this cover here. This exposes the upper control arm bolts, and then the strut nuts right there are exposed. Taking off the lower strut bolt, 21 millimeter nut and bolt. I'm just getting my wrench on here, taking that off. So I want to get that loose. I want to get the strut loose. I'm going to get this upper control arm loose. You get the upper control arm loose by just undoing this nut and bolt, and this will, the ball joint will just pop out of here. It's actually pretty easy. All right, so I'm just working on this bolt right here. Let's see here. See the bolt right there? Just cut it off. So now I'll be able to push it through and get that out. You can see how the battery is preventing it from the bolt to pull out this way. So we'll have to insert in from the other way. I use this Sawzall, this reciprocating saw. I went and got this heavy-duty thick metal blade, and it actually made pretty quick work of that. So getting something like this is what you want to do. All right, with that bolt out of that arm, I lowered it down a little bit, and now the strut is free. I can just remove all the bolts on the top there, pull it down. There is a little clip on here that holds this. Looks like it's holding the brake fluid line. Just get a screwdriver and pry that off, and then we can take the strut out. With the strut out, then we can work on replacing this upper control arm, because you can see how the coil and the strut gonna block access to the bolt here, and then the bolt on the inside there. To get this upper control arm off, this bolt here, pretty accessible, and the nut is from the front side. Over here though, the bolt has to be taken out through the back here, and the battery's right there, the 12-volt battery. So you gotta take the 12-volt battery out, which is a complete pain in the butt, guys. You gotta take it out here, and this bolt comes out right through here for that upper control arm bolt. There's no nut on the end, there's just a bolt. That's the bolt there. So it took me like 30 minutes to figure out how to get this battery out. It's a pain in the butt. It's tight to get it down in there, and there's no lifting strap on it. The battery there. Anyways, now I got the, I can replace the upper control arm now. I got the bolts out, and then I can start getting it reconnected and getting these lower links swapped out. All right, so I got my battery back in. This is a real pain to get this out. The battery, the filter, all this stuff's got to come out to get the battery out, just to get that bolt under the control arm. So got the control arm in, and now I'm working on, I just want to put the new, before I put this new lower, this piece here, I haven't removed that from the knuckle yet, but what I want to do is I want to put the strut in. Since I have this kind of all cleared out, I can put the strut in, and then I will replace this lower control arm link, this control link here. So once I get that done, then I can work on, this one, sway bar, and then tie rod end. All right, I got my strut in, and while I have the strut in, I put the bolt in, the strut into this lower link, because this actually gets hard to put in. I don't have that side in, I don't have it actually, the other side of that link hooks in right here. Both of these lower control arm or control links, whatever they call them, hook into the bottom of this knuckle right here. And it's a 21 millimeter nut, but it's a T40 bit, and mine got stuck on here, and I actually stripped both of those out. So what I did is I used an angle grinder with a thin metal cutoff, and I actually just ground in a groove right here, and now I can just it actually moves, but the center doesn't move, so it's easier to get that off. So if you struggle with that, you can just, I use that method, and it's worked a lot better than struggling with that nut and stripping off my T40 and stripping out those internal, stripping that out there. So Both of these have 2 washers at the bottom of them. I'm just going to transfer those washers to the new one. It also using the angle grinder, putting that slice into there really heats that up, so it really separates it, and you're able to get that off a lot easier. So that's the nut to this link there. That one comes off pretty easily. But what I want to do now, I'm just going to connect the knuckle to this upper ball joint so it stabilizes that before I take this second one out here. I'm working on all these kind of stuck bolts here. This is the tie rod end, and it's a 21 millimeter nut, but 10 millimeter up here to hold it. Could not get it off past this point. Tried using my angle grinder to cut it. That didn't work, and so I used my Sawzall, the cutoff blade, to just cut the nut off, and then got that off. So hardest part with a lot of these is just these stuck and seized nuts. All right, these are the parts that were replaced in this is on the driver's side. This arm here, let's see if you can see those cracks in there. There's a crack in that one. This is like this lower link. This bushing was all cracked. This is extremely loose here, this ball joint. Look at this sway bar end link. This one was falling apart. Right here, you see it falling apart. The ball joint on this tie rod end, super loose. The bushings on this upper control arm wasn't that bad, but this ball joint here is super loose. So all the ball joints were loose. All of the rubber bushings are like kind of worn out. So I definitely needed to upgrade this. And the new ones will give it a much better ride. Also, this was the old strut that was replaced. Kind of rusted out. 163,000 miles on it. Alright guys, I'm in the car after getting everything replaced on the front suspension. It was kind of a hard project, mainly because I kept having to deal with like seized bolts. There's those 2 bolts that are underneath on the bottom of the knuckle that hold the lower control arms in, and they take like a T45 Torx bit, and you got to hold it with that and then ratchet off the nut. They got kept stripping out the bolt, so those were hard. So I had to like cut a slot in those with that angle grinder. So just things like that. And then because I don't have a lift, I'm just doing it on my floor of my garage, just kind of being on your knees down low. It's just kind of a pain. That's kind of a pain. That makes it harder. But got it done, and I'm taking this to the Tesla service center right now for an alignment. The alignment is off. If I just let go of the wheel, I mean, the car just veers because I replaced the tie rod ends. Taking it to Tesla because first off, I have some Tesla money that I can spend there, so it's going to be around $300, and I would rather have them do it and get it done right, and make sure everything's good. They're familiar with these cars, and so I just figured that's the best bet. I'm still getting some clicking sound in the rear. It's fixed. That's fixed all of the front clunking of the suspension. So I'm glad that's all fixed. It's actually riding really well. The front suspension feels good. These new shocks feel good. Whenever I go over like any driveway bumps or any imperfections in the road, before there'd be a clunking sound from the front, and there's not that anymore. But there's some clicking sound in the rear. It's either the CV axles, or it's the rear control arms, lower control arms. So I'm sure those need to be replaced. I'll probably work on that at a later time. After I get all the suspension replaced in this, it should be pretty well sorted out. The motor's new, the brakes, rotors, pads, the parking brakes I replaced in this. So this has just had some like refreshing. This car has 163,000 miles on it. I've probably put maybe 4,000 or 5,000 miles since I've had it over the last year and a half. Mainly my son has been driving this car, and this is kind of a good car, like a teenager car. I mean, I bought this thing for $10,000. I think it was in December of 23. That was like the cheapest one I could find, and it had this clunking sound in the rear, and the bushings were shot on the motor. I ended up just replacing the whole motor assembly because there was some whining sound. The motor was going to be failing soon, so I just replaced the motor completely with Tesla. But this is, if you can, even now, I mean, now we're in July of 2025, and the costs for these are even less. I mean, you can find some ones that are in pretty good shape that don't need a lot of refurbishment for $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 all day long. And no one really knows how long these things are going to last. I mean, really, it's just the battery you got to worry about. The motors on these, this is a 2013. It has the large drive unit in the rear, and those have a tendency to fail because of the coolant ingress into the inverter. But this now has the revised letter U rear drive unit, so they fixed that. It's the coolant deleted drive unit. So if you don't have that version of that motor, the newest version, then you want to do a coolant delete on your motor so that it doesn't fail, because they will all eventually fail. It's just a matter of time. I mean, I guess the only thing now I have to worry about is just the battery. How long is the battery going to hold out? This battery, in looking at it, it is from 2013, but it is a refurbished battery. So I don't know when it was refurbished. Tesla said that their system couldn't look back far enough, like past 2020, to really easily see how or like when it was replaced. So as long as the main battery pack kind of holds out and lasts, this could be a pretty good car for a long time. Even my steering wheel is slightly turned to the side, and that needs to be kind of fixed. Now, the only issue with going to Tesla for this kind of service is it does take a little while to get an appointment. It's like, I think I scheduled this appointment like 3 weeks ago. I scheduled the appointment right when I started the replacement of all of the components, because I just knew it was going to be a little bit of time. It turned out it was about 3 weeks. They were about 3 weeks out. That gave me some time to kind of take my time to replace everything. I wasn't in a rush, so I probably took a couple weeks just kind of working on it here and there. Once I got the driver's side done, the passenger side did go pretty quickly, because I kind of knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew all the bolt sizes, kind of the whole process. So I didn't get any quotes on how much it was going to be to have a shop do that for me, because I wasn't going to have a shop do that. I was just going to do it myself. I definitely didn't get a quote from Tesla. I used aftermarket parts, so I didn't use like OEM Tesla parts. I just ordered aftermarket parts. I went on like Rock Auto, put in my year, make, model, and then just found all the parts. And I probably only paid, it was probably under $600 for all of the parts. So for all the suspension parts, I bought it a while ago, and I've been meaning to do it. It's just my son's been driving this all the time, and then now that I have this new Model 3, he's kind of been driving that, so I've had some time to be able to where this could just sit and I could work on that. I want to get everything kind of sorted out on this. I'm toying with the idea of selling this car before the tax credit expires, because this car has never had the tax credit applied to it, so it's eligible for the used EV tax credit of $4,000. I just don't know if I can get enough out of it. Even with the tax credit, I don't know if I can get enough out of it to even want to buy it. I'm still going to take a loss on it. I was thinking if I could get $14,000, $15,000 with the tax credit, that would give me like 19 grand. But I'm still into this almost $22,000. But we'll kind of see how this goes, and then I'll see what is kind of needed to get replaced on the rear to kind of get rid of that clicking sound. Tax credit for new and used electric cars goes away the end of September. So in a few months that goes away, and that's basically $4,000 that I would not be able to get back out of this car. And so all right, guys, just pulling into the dealer here. I'm going to pull into the service bay, and I want to show you kind of before and after on the alignment spec sheet. I'll show you kind of how far off it is. All right, I just got back from the Tesla Service Center, and here are the results of the alignment that was done. This is the before. Whenever you get an alignment, and they give you a before and after on the specs here. The front toe on both sides was off. The total toe, the steer ahead were off, and I had the rear toe on the right rear was off. So now it's now all in the green, which is good. Which is interesting is how before the total steer ahead was almost off the charts. So it was pretty bad, which I knew that and I could feel that. So everything's good to go. Front suspension feels really good. Everything's looked good on the alignment. So we're all good to go. So guys, thanks for watching the video. Be sure to leave a comment down below. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.